feel the same way. You know, it's hard to say what I feel on this game. I did not. It's hard to say what their Miles, not mine, felt. You know, we didn't play very well offensively, I didn't think. We didn't move the ball like we needed to. We didn't do the things we needed to do. I said on film I liked this team. They've got a lot of players that can do a lot of things, so they're harder covers. And, you know, we did an okay job not turning the ball over, but they didn't turn it over either. We weren't very aggressive defensively. We gave up. You know, they only shoot 27%, but they shoot 45 from three. It just goes to show the lack of aggressiveness on our part. We rebounded the ball pretty well because they missed a lot of shots. I thought on a positive side, everybody but Gavin made their free throws, the 6 turnovers. I guess the rebounding was good. But all in all, you know, I wanted to see if our team, you know, and we got to remember, I got to remember, we're still young. And we're in this mess of a 5th game in, 10 days and 11 days, whatever. And I wanted to see if we'd handle a little success, handle everybody kissing our tails. And I didn't think the grit was there today. Our break was non-existent. I thought every time we got a lead, Nebraska came back, give them credit on that. I do like his team. He's got some talent on that team. It's just that there's so many transfers right now. They're not, you know, maybe able to play together yet. But there are some pretty good players, talent-wise, on that team. And so, all in all, I guess we'll take the win. We'll look at the turnovers being a plus. We'll look at holding them to 27%, being partly because of us and partly because of them. And I think of all the things that I felt, we weren't aggressive defensively and we weren't aggressive offensively. Nick Ward did a good job. We did a good job getting him in. That was part of the game plan. I thought we missed some. Miles missed 2-3 layups. I thought we missed some shots inside, and we missed some good threes. So our shooting woes continue, shooting 26% from the 3. But it was a win, and now somehow we got to get ready in a day for a road trip.
Tom, over here, you said after the loss to Duke, you were going to monitor your team and how they responded. You've won 6 in a row by a minimum of 18 points. Can you put that in perspective, please?
No, it wasn't very satisfying today, to be honest with you. And that takes nothing away and it says nothing about Nebraska. I have to look at what we do. And our break was non-existent. I give them some credit. I thought they were very well prepared for a couple of specialty plays we wanted to run to get Miles posted in that, and we didn't maybe execute as well. I mean, I thought up until today we were doing a great job of that. I thought today, you know, we started out a little sloppy. We didn't execute. We weren't setting screens, and totally disappointed with what we did that we needed to do. And yet we found a way to score some points and win a game, and mostly because our defense was pretty good, not aggressive. That's why we're giving up so many threes. I mean, they hit 10 threes. So, no, I'm not going to put that game in there. That has no perspective with the other ones. I mean, we could have won by less and played better, and I would have been happier.
Secondly, Jaron with a double-double. Would you just talk about his continued advance?
You know, we're trying to get him more aggressive. As you can see, we tried to isolate him a little bit, let him put it on the floor, which he's pretty good at. He wasn't finishing great. That's part of getting stronger. But, you know, he gets 10 rebounds. He had, I don't know how many blocks.
3.
3. I thought he had more than that. But 3 blocks, you know, and you know, just like, hey, Miles, you know, McQuaid, and they're just not shooting the ball real well. They all shot it really well yesterday and today in the shoot-around. So, you know, Jaron is definitely coming. I thought he was, again, pretty good defensively. So he took a step in the right direction.
You've talked about the offense not being aggressive, but you did get to the free throw line 36 times. I mean, a lot of that was Nick inside. I guess, can you talk about maybe the difference between the offensive aggression and being able to draw that contact there?
Yeah, well, I thought when some other guys drove, we just kind of flipped it up there. Nick kind of went into him with some contact, and that's why we got to the line. And him and Jaron, it was our two bigs that did more than our guards. Although Miles had a couple nice drives, just didn't finish. But, that part, a game plan was to go in. The problem was there for a while. We were getting Nick the ball on the offensive end and doing good, and not as good on the defensive end. And Gavin was good on the defensive end and non-existent on the offensive end. So we still got, we got bodies, but we still got plenty of work to do.
Tom, a couple foul-related questions. A, Jaron picks one up in 14 seconds but stays out of foul trouble. And B, what can Nick do to stay out of foul trouble so he can stay on the court?
Two good questions. I'm hoping that when you go down to the locker room, you ask those guys that, because in my mind, Jaron just can't come down, although I thought some of those were close. But he's just kind of coming down, and he doesn't have to. At the end, he kept his hands up, and he still blocked shots, not even leaving the ground. So he's got good timing, and he's just going to have to learn. Nick, on the other hand, sometimes tries to go over guys' backs, and he's got to quit doing that. He's got to, that's where our offensive rebounding. We got 13. I didn't think was very good because we were just kind of trying to jump over guys' backs and not kind of get around guys. So, we'll make some progress on that. It was good that Jaron, that was probably a plus that he played with that and didn't do anything after that. But then again, that's probably why they shot 45 from the three. We just didn't get out on things. We didn't switch out very well. We're going to have to work harder on that.
Tom, I know Miles didn't have a great shooting night, but there seem to be some things that more completeness to his game that you're trying. Is that something that intentional is happening?
Yeah, we tried to get him to take it to the hole, and he did more. We just got to get some consistency. He's got to work on coming off those ball screens, but he definitely made a couple of great drives. Just barely missed two of those finger rolls, and I thought he drove it more. He drove it and dished it more. He actually, even though he was 4 for 12, I thought he was more aggressive than he's been, and that was probably the three things he wanted to do: is get him more aggressive, get Jaron more aggressive, and get the ball down to Nick. And I guess in some ways we accomplished all three things, even though they had different kinds of results.
Tom, kind of saw it in the Notre Dame game, maybe a little bit more than today, but talking about Jaron's fouls, where is he in that process of staying within himself when a call doesn't go his way and things like that?
You must be talking about his little facial body language. He's still, remember now, he just turned 18 a month or so ago, and he has his moments. I thought when Josh missed the 2 free throws, he reverted back a little bit to getting down on himself, which guys do. But then Josh came back and got some big rebounds. So, I thought he was different. But in as far as Jaron goes, just every day he grows in one way or another. I told him he's got to rebound better, and he did rebound better and got that tip dunk, and he starting to be more aggressive, going to the boards. Like I said, he's not afraid. There's two types of players, if you ask me: those that are weak and afraid, and those that are weak and not afraid. And what I like about him is he's not afraid of anybody. He's just got to keep getting stronger and learn how to play with the new 20 pounds that he's got on him. And he's getting better at it. He's getting better. I mean, it wasn't always an easy cover, too. They went with 5 kind of shooters there for a while, and we tried covering them different way. And then they hit 2 as the shot clock went off. And then they hit 2 with the kid that came in that hasn't been playing much. And the one kid was shooting 20-some%. So their 3 started going in. That was the difference in the game before halftime. If we could have kept it at 20 points instead of down to 12, I think maybe we could have had a different game. But I do like the talent on his team. I just think he's got so many new guys. They haven't learned to play together yet either. And but there's times they move the ball well and penetrate and kick out well. I think that team's going to grow into it. a decent team. I really do.
Tom, you've already stated your lack of love for playing a Big Ten game this early, but now you play basically Sunday night. You play Tuesday night in New Jersey. What do you practice tomorrow, walk through Tuesday, and play Tuesday night, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is where to me, you really struggle because if we could have played a noon game today, but we couldn't do that, and it is what it is, But the biggest part of it is it's going to be the 6th game in the 13th day. That's more important than the one-day prep. And so we've been kind of skating, in fairness to my team, that I'm not satisfied with offensively. We haven't worked on much. We haven't practiced much. Been more walkthroughs from out at the PK 80 to now. It's been a lot of walkthroughs and a little bit of shooting and free throw shooting. We just have not been able to do much. And so I shouldn't be surprised by our lack of maybe running things efficiently. But I think that'll improve if somehow, some way we can get through tomorrow. It'll be a walkthrough here for an hour and a half and then fly out there and look at film at night and then the hour you get for the day of the game and then you play. And Rutgers is a much better team. That guy is a hell of a coach, I think. I think he was one of the great additions to our league. And some of those guys that were freshmen and sophomores getting their brains beat in are now juniors and seniors. And they got a guard, Sanders, that's a hell of a player. So first kind of real road game, isn't it, as far as playing on an opponent's home court. So that's always a different thing, too.
The first half, when you guys pulled away, crashed the offensive glass and kept them off the offensive glass. I mean, if you're looking for positive, I imagine that's probably one of them.
I don't think they had any of the first half, did they? But then they had 5 minutes into the second half. So that's what I said. I thought we played the score. I thought we played like a team that does not have the step on their throat mentality. And that part disappointed me. I made no bones about it. I don't like when we giving up a wide open 3 because we're not getting back on defense. So you always worry as a coach, as the more credit your team gets, then the more I won't say the more negative I got to get, but somehow there's got to be a balance, or you start, as they used to say back in the old days, reading the press clippings. Now it's probably reading the Twitter feed or what else do they do? The chap snats, whatever they do, And I just prefer them just thinking about what we're saying, but it's just so much harder to do these days. And we're not big-headed. We're not looking at it that way. I just think there's a sense of urgency. I really enjoyed this morning. I had to shoot around, and then I kind of watched a little bit of the football. And you listen to those coaches at those top programs that have been there 3, 4, 5 years in a row, and it's all about consistency. It's all about culture. That is the one thing getting harder in basketball, is to have a culture, because you got so many guys leaving and going, and I thought today our culture wasn't like our culture of the great teams we've had used to be. And that's what we got to keep working towards. And I guess that's my job, and I'll try to do a better job than I did today.
Tom, a question about Jaren. It's nothing to do with effort, but is it strength related that he falls to the court all the time, and that's got to be a concern for you about his health?
Well, not his health, I don't think, because, when he falls, he's got a big, long body. I think that's like the beanstalk. Once it starts tipping, it goes, but he does get to the floor a lot, but he does pop right back up. That's what I say. He's not soft. He's still trying to find himself. He's getting better every day. I absolutely love the kid because he listens and he's trying to learn and he's trying to get better. But different teams throw different things at him too, Some are going to want to be physical with him to think he can't take that. Like he's spun and a couple of great jump hooks and he just missed them. He makes all those in practice. I think sometimes he doesn't realize what he can do yet, Put it on the floor. We kind of ran a clear play for him the first play, and I don't know, I was so surprised that it was open. He just like double dribbled, but I don't have any problem with our guys. had good practices. They were focused in this morning. It's just that mentality of putting your foot on somebody's throat when you get them down. Because if you don't do that on the road, then you lose games. You know, you saw it a little bit against Notre Dame the start of the second half. But hell, if we didn't have anything to work on, I wouldn't have a job. So I guess it's good that we have something to work on.
Coach, what does it say about the talent on your team that you're disappointed with a 29-point win over a Big Ten?
Yeah, you know, that sounds bad for Nebraska, so let me make sure I straighten that out. I just didn't like the way we played. You know, whether we scored points or not, you saw that our break wasn't there. You saw that we didn't defend a three at all. You saw that we just didn't execute. We were dribbling the ball too much. We didn't look very efficient. And you know, when you have a good team, you want to continue to work on the things that it's going to take to be a great team. And if you give in to those things that we're not doing, that's not good. So I'm not overly upset. I'm not taking anything away from Nebraska. Hey, they played well in stretches, and they played poor in stretches. But they cut it back to 12. They cut it, I don't know if they had it to 10, whatever, and did some things on the road. And then, you know, I think our depth hurt them a little bit too. Even though some of our depth didn't play as well. We got to get Kenny Goins now back in there a little bit more in the rotation. I think he's good enough to be healthy enough, and it would be nice if we get to the point where we have a true rotation pretty soon, you know, and that'll be the next job of me and my staff. Next job of our players will be to execute a little better offensively and figure out what we got to do when we have some success. And so that I'll be fighting you guys, I'll be fighting our fans, I'll be fighting the world, because we won a few games. We won a few big games. Okay, and we played pretty well in two of them defensively. Played very well offensively against Notre Dame, very poor against North Carolina. And I said all year we have not been playing real good offensively. That's why we're averaging 16 turnovers. So today we didn't turn it over, but we didn't execute as well. So we still got some things to work on, which we should have. I mean, we're still awfully young too, and we'll try to get better. Going to be a tough turnaround, but a big game for us. If you have aspirations of winning a conference, these are the kind of games you got to win. These are sometimes harder to win than bigger games. So we're going to go out there and try to stay as fresh as we can and see what we can do. So thanks a lot. Enjoy the day. As always, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that I'm excited for Mark. And, you know, I don't know what it is, 10th out of 11 bowl games. What is it, 9 out of 10? You guys would know.
10 out of 11.
10 out of 11, you know, I mean, that's a fantastic achievement. And, you know, what this team did is, you know, I keep talking about them because I'm impressed enough that I talked to my team about what they did. And so I'm happy for him, his staff, his team, the families. They went through hell last year, and, you know, good men are still standing, and he's still standing, so I'm happy for him.